Hey guys, Jim here. I'm going to do a quick little video here for you because I've been getting a lot of requests lately asking for my opinion on a couple of different hand spinners. Now you guys know I've already done a full presentation video on the Torqbar SB, which is what pretty much everybody considers to be the original of the new wave of fidget toys. Well, it is definitely the original of the new wave of fidget toys. However, there's been some speculation that there have been other hand spinning devices that do the same type of thing around for, as some people put it, decades, motherfucker! I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before. I guess there was at some point something that looked like a Chinese throwing star that you could spin in your hands, but that was pretty much the only stuff that I've seen. So right now, the two most popular, and there are a lot more coming, but the two most popular right now are going to be the Torqbar and the Flat Top by Vorso Spin. Now, the intent of this video isn't really to tell you which one to buy or which one is better than the other. But what I do want to do is give you some real-world comparisons, maybe some pros and cons from one to the other, and maybe that'll help you make up your mind if you haven't had a chance to handle them both. First thing is what I'm doing right here. The biggest difference between these is you can take your hand spinner, okay, and you can put it down on a flat surface and you can spin it. But with the Torqbar, you can't do that, because these guys have raised finger pads or buttons and the Torqbar does not. So when people start talking about, I don't understand why the flat top is $30, $40, $50 more than the Torqbar SB. Number one, until last week when the Torqbar SB dropped, you weren't paying $140 to $170. You were paying $400, $500, $600, $700 for these because of the secondary market. So these really aren't more expensive than this, but when you take that baseline MSRP, if you will, and compare them, yes, the flat top is $30 to $50 more expensive depending on the finishes. One of the things is if you buy a Torqbar and you want to also use it as a table spinner, like a top, you have to purchase an additional set of buttons. Now, I don't know what that cost is because Scott hasn't even released them yet. So that means you don't even have that capability yet here. So to do that, it's going to be very simple. It's the same thing you do when you're performing maintenance. All you're going to do is simply twist and turn. I'm going to take this apart as quickly as I can. And you're going to take your buttons off and you'll replace the button. But the difference is this comes with that button that's already raised. And with the Torqbar, you're going to have to purchase it. So let's say he only charges $20 for the new buttons. Well, now there's almost no difference in the price. So I would really tell you to not worry so much about the marginal price difference here. The other difference in the price, let's just take a look at the brass versus the brass here for a moment. Here we have a blasted and stone-washed finish. And that is absolutely it. No other work has been done to that finish. Here, you've got a very high machine satin finish that was then mirror polished. Even the buttons have a really nice amount of work that have been done to finish it, to make it look more attractive. This is basic. This is a higher degree of finish. Now, that may not matter to you. I'm not saying that it should. As far as the functionality, doesn't change a thing. Do you care about showing it off? I don't know. I'm not you. But when you have to take into account the fact that time is money, a lot more time was spent making this than making this. So naturally, this is going to cost more. There are more steps, there are more processes involved. Not many, and they're not too terribly time-consuming, but there is a difference. So again, take that into account when you look at the price differences. Now, as far as performance goes, I have two different bearing packs here. You can buy two different sets of bearings for the Vorso Spin. You don't get an option here. This one has the steel bearings. This one has the ceramic. The Torqbar SBs now have what he calls a hybrid steel ceramic, which from the way that I see it is you have a set of steel balls and a set of ceramic balls. So however that breaks down, the Torqbar is fast and it's smooth. But here's the thing. Smooth, important, yes, absolutely. These are both very, very smooth. Fast is a good thing. Long spinner, who gives a shit? It's not a top. That's one of the things that it really irks me when I read everybody that was asking questions about the Torqbar and the Torqbar groups and other hand spinners. Every time a new hand spinner comes out, well, what's the spin time? Who gives a shit? You're not doing this and then just sitting there until your fingers and your hand cramps up. It doesn't matter if it spins for 3 minutes or 30 minutes, because that's not what this is designed for. It's designed to fidget with. It's like clicking a pen. You're always going to be stopping it and restarting it. So as long as it's not a set of fucking rusty bearings, who gives a shit? You want it to feel smooth and you want it to be fast. But as far as the longevity of the spin, it doesn't matter. Because the whole connection that you have with this and why you want it is because you're always going to be stopping it and starting it and flicking it and doing various different spinning techniques with it. That's what it's all about. So, and I will tell you this, these spin for less time than this does. Even this guy right here in the stainless steel, which has the ceramic bearings. Part of it is it's much, much shorter. The Torqbar is 3 inches in length. This is 2 inches. So you've lost a full inch. That's right, just like a fat man over time, he looks down, oh my God, it's an inch smaller. No, you're just an inch fatter down there. Anyway, the point is, you have less rotating mass, I guess would probably be the best way to put it. But this still spins very, very fast, and very consistently, and very, very smoothly. You also get a tool included in the packaging, so that you can change out your parts, change out your bearing. You can interchange if you have more than one flat top. You can interchange some of the parts. So as far as spin times go, again, to me that's not even a factor. Now, here's the thing, and this is going to be entirely personal. This is my opinion. They spin differently because of the size of my hands. For your reference, I wear a size large glove. If you wear a smaller glove, then you can take this opinion and tell me to shove it up my ass. I prefer the feeling of the Torqbar. It's just the right size for me to reach every part of it, no matter which fingers I'm using. Even if I switch over to here, it just feels right. I really don't ever miss any part of it when I'm flicking. I can always find it and hit it because it's right where my finger is going to be. Now with this little guy, sometimes I miss it when I go to flick it because it is so small and it is so close to the center. I do like the larger size buttons, however. They feel more comfortable for my fingers. Not that this is uncomfortable, but to make the comparison, I do prefer the finger pads on the Vorso Spin Flat top. It feels a little more under control. It's obviously more stable because it is shorter. So you can go pretty much instantly on your fastest spin to releasing your thumb. And on the Torqbar, you get a nice fast spin going. Sometimes it'll feel a little bit wobbly and you're kind of like, oh, should I take my thumb off or not? Because you feel like you're going to drop it. And listen, you don't want to drop this on the sidewalk too many times. It's going to be utterly ruined. This is my old standard, the old brass, the one that I've had for a while now. I actually only carry the titanium now. I just prefer that one. I like the weight. I like the fact that my hands don't smell like any kind of metal when I'm done. The versions that are available here are in the polished brass or in the stainless steel. And I think he offers multiple finishes, so you can get the polished or you can get the machine finish. And this is the machine finish, by the way, which still looks really, really nice. I mean, make that comparison. It depends on what you like, but again, more time went into this than went into this. Very clean look all the way around. Another comment I saw people make was they were really not happy with the fact that the bearings, and you can pretty much see them if you look good enough, the bearings are somewhat exposed here. Whereas your cap, your finger pads here, go all the way over and encapsulate the bearings here. Here's the thing, and I know why you're worried about that. You're worried about pocket lint and dirt and things like that getting in there. Number one, you're going to have to do maintenance on these all the time anyway. You're going to have to open this up, spray it out, a compressed air or whatever, and get whatever crud is in there, because this is not a sealed bearing packet, okay? It's performing basically like a dust cover. It is not airtight, watertight, anything tight. So pocket lint, dirt, anything else is still going to get in there. Maybe only a slight bit less than it would here on the flat top. I see that being a negligible difference. And again, in order to keep these spinning properly, you're going to be popping these open and giving them a good spray and a good cleaning every now and then. I like the fact that you do have the option to use these as table spinners. So when you're running around, you've got this in your pocket, you get to your office, and boom, you've got your tabletop spinner or your top. You don't have that here unless you spend more money, which brings you closer to the price of these. I like the ergonomics of the SB a little bit better than on the flat top. However, I do still like the flat top. I like carrying it. By the way, and this is a much smaller footprint in your pocket. So maybe that's a concern for you as well, that you don't want something 3 inches in your pocket when you can have something that's only 2 inches. I don't know. Could be, I don't know. The fit and finish on these is finer, but there's still nothing wrong with the Torqbar. Another great thing is, with the Torqbar, you have these holes on either side, and included in your packaging is a little clip that allows you to clip it on and off your keychain very, very quickly in case you don't want to stick it just randomly in your pocket. You do not get the option with the flat top. That may be important to you. I don't know. So those are the main differences in between them. Honestly, they're both fantastic. I wouldn't tell you to buy one over the other unless we start talking specifics like we just discussed here. Well, I've got big hands and long fingers. Get the Torqbar. I've got normal-sized hands, and it doesn't really matter which way I go. They're both going to be great. I want something that looks a little bit nicer. Get the flat top. I want one that's going to spin longer. They're going to spin for about the same amount of time. A heavy material in the Torqbar SB may spin a little bit longer. But again, you're always stopping it and starting it. You're not just holding it and letting it spin forever. Maybe some of you do. I don't know. It just seems strange to me, because then it's no longer a fidget thing. It's just I'm watching something spin on my hand thing. If that's what you're into, no judgments here. That's pretty much it. So there's your very slight differences. I think, honestly, I can justify the slightly higher price on the flat top because you do get a nicer presentation overall. By the way, even the packaging is a little bit nicer. Not crazy fancy, but here, let me grab it real quick. So, same as the Torqbar, where you just get a cardboard box, but when you get it open, it's marked first edition if you happen to have gotten a first edition. You've got the foam inserts that had to be cut. Again, more money spent doing that than simply just taking a box and throwing the Torqbar into a bag. They are form fit for your flat top. Your extra set of bearings will go here. Your tool to change out your bearings is here. Underneath is your certificate, instead of just having it written on the side of the box like the Torqbar. And additional hardware, the set screws for the bearings. So if you happen to lose one, you're not screwed. Because guess what? These are not made in the USA. They are made in the UK. And if you were to have to get a replacement set screw, then you're going to have to wait a week or two for it to arrive from the UK to the US if you happen to live in the US. So there it is. There's your differences between the Vorso Spin Flat Top and the Torqbar SB. Once again, I'm not here to tell you which one to buy or which one's better. Those are just my simple observations and a couple of my opinions thrown in. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it helps you make a decision.